I really think Mina Kimes posted one of her greatest tweets in regards to people who compare Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes against each other. And the biggest thing that I've seen, at least in terms of comparing Lamar Jackson to any of those quarterbacks, is when they use Lamar Jackson's all-pro teammates to explain why Joe Burrow is actually better than Lamar, because Joe Burrow doesn't have as much help. More specifically, it's this graphic here. It's like, oh, Lamar Jackson's teammates is 21 All-Pros and 45 Pro Bowlers versus, Allen and Joe Burrow, who don't have as many. Well, fun fact, a random no-name account tried to do this, and it was just really funny. And this kind of it helps my point that I'm trying to make here. They tried to say that, oh, look, in 2021, the Buffalo Bills had one All-Pro, and it was Jordan Poyer, and they had a second-team All-Pro in Micah Hyde, so 2 All-Pro players. And then they only had 2 Pro Bowlers, in Stephon Diggs and Deion Dawkins. On the other graphic, they showed All-Pros. It was Justin Tucker, who's a kicker. They showed Devin Duvernay, who was a special teams All-Pro nomination. He wasn't even listed as a wide receiver. And then they put Mark Andrews in 2021 had one of the greatest seasons ever by a NFL tight end, in history. Just look at the receiving yards he had in 2021 compared to all the other greats, and you'll see. And then they put the Pro Bowlers. You put Lamar, Pat Ricard, the fullback, Mark Andrews, Justin Tucker, who's a kicker, and then Devin Duvernay, who, again, literally says there, return specialist. So you're going to there's no actual wide receivers that are a Pro Bowler on this roster this year. Pat Ricard is a fullback. And like I said, Mina Kimes said it best. I don't think a system that gives the same level of significance to Jamar Chase and Patrick Ricard is a useful way to evaluate QB context. And I think that is perfectly said. Again, I personally love Pat Ricard. Fullbacks need to come back in the NFL. I think it's a very undervalued position. But again, you're not going to look at Pat Ricard and be like, yeah, hey, Lamar has an all-pro teammate, and then be like, oh, well, who would you rather have on your roster? You want to have the all-pro Pat Ricard, or do you want to have, T. Higgins? Or do you want to have Stephon Diggs? What? And it's just stuff like that where you just post things without context that just ruins sports discourse in so many ways. And again, this faceless account just posted it, and it was just trying to dunk on it, and it just made no sense. Lamar Jackson's first ever Pro Bowl receiver, homegrown Pro Bowl receiver, was Zay Flowers in 2024. Zay Flowers is the first Baltimore Ravens receiver to ever be nominated for the Pro Bowl. He's the first wide receiver drafted by the Baltimore Ravens to be nominated for a Pro Bowl. And it was in 2024. So, yeah. Context will always be key in sports discourse, and honestly in a lot of debates and discourse outside of sports. And I think once people stop being disingenuous with their takes and with their opinions and actually start backing it up with facts, or even just do some fact finding themselves, it will improve dramatically.